We built this business for people, and while we want to provide the best quality product every time, we want to make a human connection every time. We want you to walk through our doors and feel like you have value, that you're more than what you're spending, that you're more than whatever your situation is. And we want to hear, we want to listen, and we want to be here for you. So. I am Snyder, and I own Sweet Bakes, Donuts, and Cakes. I have been doing this since my first daughter was born, who's 6. So 6 years, which is crazy to think about. I started because I wanted to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom. And it's ironic that now I'm working again. I do have good boundaries, though, I will say that. I've learned good boundaries in the last year and a half, 2 years. But yeah, I started in a kitchen, home-based kitchen, and we moved to Columbia 4 years ago, and just felt like the Lord was calling us to take the next step. And so we started making donuts at that point, because I was just doing cakes. And we got a donut truck and we're serving donuts out at the farmer's market before we ended up going to a brick and mortar. So it's been kind of a slow growth thing, which has been really good. So officially, we kind of say our start date was when we started in Columbia, because that's when it felt like it was kind of real. And so that would be 2016. I'm like, what does my shirt say? 14? I don't even know the year. I don't even know what day it is. But anyway, so 2014. So it is 6 years. Yeah. So we're originally from Ohio, and we moved to Nashville because we're musicians, my husband and I. We're in a band. And so we toured and played, and we landed in Nashville. And then as we came off the road and wanted to start our family, Nashville began to really explode. And one of the things we loved about Nashville was it felt like a small town, even though it was a big city, and that we felt like we were losing that. And so my in-laws moved to Columbia first, and we would come down and visit Columbia. And we just, every time we were here, we're like, there is something so special. It's just so sweet. And we could not put our finger on it. We couldn't describe it. It just felt like it was this visceral thing. And we began to pray, and we just felt like the Lord told us, go, it's time to go. And so we sold our house, and we came down here and looked and found a beautiful home. Yeah, we love it. It's great. Well, I'm super extroverted and relational. And so even apart from being a business owner, I'm just wanting to connect with people, moms, women, even through our church, doing things and different volunteer work. I try to leverage my business even to be able to be generous with how we can give to our community. So if that's financially or in things that we can donate, that's one way that we want to actually be a part of of Columbia and helping just our neighbor, loving our neighbor. So so a lot of it I think would stem from the business, because I'm meeting people through here, which is awesome, because that's what I love. Our mission of our business is to create a space that nurtures human connection. That's our mission statement. And so that is a part of how I am wired, is for human connection. And so that just infiltrates everything I do. If I'm at the grocery store, I'm like, who can I connect with? Who can I look in the eyes? Who can I ask how they're doing and listen? And if I'm, out with my daughter at the library or we're on a walk, who can I make eye contact with and have human connection? And so that's a huge part of this, but I carry it into every part of how I live my life. Yeah. And that's here in Columbia. We're called to Columbia to love Columbia, to carry Columbia's joys and burdens. And so however we can do that as a business and as a family, we do our best. I feel like we kind of came in when it was first starting to see these bigger changes. We would talk to people who are dear friends now who are from here, and they're like, oh gosh, 10 years ago, it was so different. It was nothing like this. So I feel like we were right at the turning point. So the biggest thing is I feel like it's just moved swifter. Like it was already beginning when we were here. We were seeing a lot of like makers and artisans and small business owners. I mean, this has always been a town of small business owners from my understanding and from what I've seen, but it's just like taken on a whole new life. Like everyone feels this like energy of like, I can do something here. I can make my mark. I can create something here, and I'm going to be welcome here. In the last 4 years, it's like, I just feel like it's taken on a whole new life. And it feels like there's just fresh energy in this town, and it's really cool to see and to be a part of. I hope that as Columbia grows, which I believe in Columbia, and so I believe this is true of our DNA, that this will be true, but that we still get to hold on to what makes Columbia so special. And it really is, it's relationships. It's the fact that you walk down the street or you go to the park and people are smiling and they're waving and they're saying hi. And small businesses championing one another, that we can have, I'm not the only bakery in town, and I'm okay with that. And I love that. And I visit the other bakeries and I love them and I want to see them do well. And so I think like, I want to see that those things continue, that we can like hold on to those things, because that is what makes us so unique and so special. And so as we grow, that we wouldn't lose that part of who we are. So the last 6 months obviously have been weird because we're like living in uncharted territory, like just with a pandemic and all that. But yeah, we started off our year just really great and really strong. And then in March, it got like unnerving with like not knowing how things were going to happen. And, I had a big cry, like, what if everything that I've built, crumbles? And I think I had to come to terms with like grieving the potential of losing things. I think it was really healthy to do that, to feel all the feelings. And then after I did, I just picked myself up by my bootstraps and I was like, all right, now we're going to get creative, and how can we stay afloat? And so through the pandemic, we expanded offerings like we've never expanded offerings. And it was like every week my brain is spinning of like, what can I do next? What can be different? How can I get people through the door? But also, how can I get them to feel a sense of normalcy through a really weird time? Like, how can we be a bright spot? So one day we were like, it's Unicorn Day. I'm pretty sure it was not, I'm actually 100% sure it was not Unicorn Day. I was like, it's Unicorn Day at Sweet Bakes. But things like that would just bring light and life and joy and hope in a really strange time. And we had so many people coming through the drive-thru with their kiddos and just saying, thank you for doing this. Thank you for being here. This meant the world to us today. And so, like, though it was hard and my brain was tapped from trying to be creative at times, I knew that like we were here for such a time as this. And the building that we're in, we have a drive-through, everything was for such a time as this. And I feel thankful that we have customers who would come through and say, I'm praying for you, and sending us cards and notes in the mail and encouraging us and saying, we're gonna do our best to make sure you stay in business. And I'm like, oh, like I cried in the drive-through a lot. But yeah, so it's been a weird time, but I feel like even now, and coming into June and coming into July, even in the summertime, it's feeling like a little bit more normal. I don't know if we'll get back to normal, but it feels a little bit better. And I think the fact that we were able to go through a really hard season and still stay in business speaks to our community and speaks to what Columbia is about, which is small business. It's amazing. Like, I'm blown away. And I think our experience in Columbia is a lot different than a lot of people's. And I don't want to minimize anyone's pain or what they've gone through, but I think we've had just a different experience than a lot of people have, going through a really strange, hard time.